Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I want to talk about some quiet quitting objectives I have this year. Especially for people who are solosexual like myself, or in general, people who just hold romance toward themselves and really enjoy events by themselves. So one thing that is often overlooked when we talk about work-life balance, I work with most of my colleagues have romance with other people, right? And I genuinely mean it when I say I hold an auto-romantic kind of relationship. I cannot enjoy events with other people. I for example, when I think about my favorite vacation destinations, even ones that I've never been to, when I finally take a trip to Jupiter, I just can't imagine sharing that trip with anybody. I really can't. It's weird. Even when I have dreams at night. One time I had dreamt that I had gone to another planet to work with bismuth. There was a planet that had huge bismuth deposits, and it had very low gravity as well. You could very easily pour a 1-ton bismuth Buddha. And in the dream, obviously, I went by myself. I didn't take a girl to... don't get me wrong. I also find certain people attractive as well, but I would never share a romance with somebody. Which is what makes it very challenging for me to meet people, because I want a best friend forever. I don't want a romantic relationship. But what often gets overlooked is that we talk about work-life balance in the context of caring for kids, in the context of, if God forbid one of my colleagues needed to travel, that they're going to have to miss their spouse, right? We talk, and don't get me wrong, those are important things. What people forget is the converse of that, right? I don't have somebody to share household responsibilities with. So at a previous job, I often didn't have time to eat very well. What had happened was we had just returned to the office after the quarantines, and during the quarantine, I was eating super well. Not only was I able to control what I ate, I didn't have to deal with questions about what I ate. I could eat at whatever time that I pleased. The only difficulty was that, obviously, stores weren't open 24 hours anymore, so you had to plan ahead. But once you planned ahead, you could eat whenever you wanted to. Right, I did have to adjust to not being able to get up at 3 in the morning, have a craving, and go out to get my food. I did have to adjust to that. Don't get me wrong. There were adjustments to be made. But aside from that, I was eating really well. And then we returned to the office, and my eating habits went to shit within a couple months. Literally, if I remember correctly. All of my colleagues at Washington Tech can attest that all of a sudden I wasn't eating as well anymore. And yet, we somehow accept that, but we can't accept that some people have to spend time away from their spouses, right? My colleagues who are in committed relationships, they'll give heck for having to spend 2 days away from their spouse, but they expect me to spend months and months away from my healthy eating habits. Why? Okay, so that's one thing that a lot of people don't think about in regard to a work-life balance for solosexuals. Another more subtle, this one's more subtle, is that when you don't have that second income earner to fall back on, your risk tolerance is severely hampered at work. What do I mean by that? Well, a couple nights ago, I was talking to a friend about some of these issues I had at previous workplaces. No time to eat properly, no time to cook properly, and my friend was giving me some suggestions on what I could say at my next job. The problem is, she is married and has a second income to fall back on, and yeah, she could maybe do that. And so the point is that we have a society where the people who have more leverage to acquire more, right? And by have, it could be money, it could be love, It could be good health, and a lot of people forget that. And so the people who have the spouse, the kids, they want even better spouses and better kids. What about the people who don't have, right? Whether they be solosexual or just haven't met the right person yet. Either one, right? All right, so thought I would point. Another work-life balance issue I'd love to see is that one of my favorite things about so we just had the holiday season, but it's actually not the holiday that I like the best. It's the anticipation of the holiday coming up that gives me the most enjoyment. So, for example, I'm really stressed out. It's the end of October. Oh, just a few more weeks. Thanksgiving's coming up. We even had Veterans Day off, if I remember correctly. Just push through another 2 weeks. See, I wish we had more of those holidays or just anchor days of some sort where just push through 2 more weeks and we can do that, right? We need more of those kind of days, right? So, for example, January 29th this year will mark 38 years since the Challenger explosion. I don't understand why we can't have a day off for that, right? Or maybe, what else is going on? Carrie Underwood's birthday is coming up, right? The anniversary of, COVID and Fukushima both happened on March 11th. So March 11th has been a very solemn day. We could call it Disaster Preparation Day, right? Disaster awareness, crisis awareness day of some sort, right? And then April 23rd is James Buchanan's birthday, our only solosexual U.S. president. And you get the idea, right? Having days like that as anchor waypoints, right? Oh, just hang in there 3 more weeks and we got another day off, right? We need more of those things, right? It'll make me so much more productive. It will much more than pay for itself. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.